Hey, good morning, YouTube. Good morning, good morning. Morning, George, Patrick, Ben, PD, Al, Kayleen, Craig, Dan. Good morning, everybody. How's it going this morning? Walmart earnings are out. We had a big, hopefully, a flush out type move in the market yesterday. I mean, I've been kind of waiting for it. We've been chopping, stair stepping lower, and then finally, we got something that feels like a flush out. Um, oh, I didn't set my drink over here. Had it sitting over there. All right. Anyway, so was that the flush out that we needed to get a bounce finally? Let's talk about it. Let's go through it. Let's see what they got. So, like I said, Walmart announcing earnings. Retail kind of the theme of the week, and retail sales and healthcare getting crushed this morning. Arturo, Don, Infinity. Glad to see everybody. So, yeah, let's go ahead and pop over to this. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Remember, I may never get anything right again, so past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here, intended to be informational, educational, and fun, it is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. If you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. All right, good morning. More people. Morning, Larry, Francois, Philip, Michael. Good morning, everybody. If you want to chat with me while I'm live, click the link right over here where the monster can is. Oh no! Almost spilled it. Almost spilled it. Almost spilled it. Click the link where the monster can is, and the subscribe button, and then you can chat with me live just a few seconds later, and yeah. So if you're watching later, though, you got to leave a comment because the chat is no longer active after I'm no longer live. And if you want to join me again tomorrow, click the bell with the doodads to get notified when I go live. Or just grab your phone, set a calendar alert for 9:13 in the morning, and remind you to click the link in the live stream tab. And at 9:15, I'll probably go live. There you go. All right. Now, a lot of feedback on your end. I don't really know what would cause any feedback. And the mic levels are dropped to 0, so I don't know. I got nothing that would be feedback. There's no sound. There's no room is quiet. I don't know. All right. I'm sorry if you got feedback, but there's no desktop audio. There's no. All there is the mic. All right. No feedback for everybody else. So it must be you, Michael. All right. Oop. Clicked on the wrong link there. All right. Let me go back to the calendar. Here we go. Calendar for the week. Wrapping it up. We had unemployment claims coming out today. It was just kind of, well, let's refresh so we get the actual data. And just kind of coming in at expectations. Not really hot, not really not hot, just right at the expectation. I mean, probably looks like we're past this cycle's peak. Probably go back through another trough, and that's just the ebb and flow of our economy in the U.S. So we'll probably see this flow back off again, then spike up again. I mean, just kind of like the normal ebb and flow of our economy. We tend to churn about 250,000 jobs a week. And there's that many dum-dums out there that get fired or quit or whatever and go file unemployment. So just keep it in mind. I mean, when you think about it, our 300 million people, probably like 250 million of us actually work, maybe 220. And, for 200,000 people to get fired in a week, not really, 300,000, it wouldn't even surprise me, really. I mean, have you talked to kids out there? Anyway, all right. So moving on. Nothing really tomorrow. And the rest of the day looks kind of benign as far as economic news. Now, yesterday, those Fed minutes kind of a little bit I guess the algos went a little crazy starting at 2 p.m. when the minutes came out. That I mean, the mainstream media definitely went crazy. That, oh my gosh, the Fed sees inflation coming back and may have to raise rates more. I mean, come on, it's no surprise. And I mean, we got a nothing burger on the FOMC when they raised the rate and did nothing. Nobody really cared. But now we care about the minutes. I mean, come on. We were just needing a correction. When we look at the S&P chart, why does it keep popping that up? We ended the day right in the orange zone. I drew it on the box. I mean, I drew the box on the chart. I talked about it. That we were likely to come down to the box. We got to close right in there. I mean, come on now. We did go just a touch deeper than I thought we might, but it's still in the range. Like, that's still right there where I thought we would go. I mean, come on. Nothing surprised me. This is, very potential, very high potential to get a bounce here. Going from the high down to the low. Still the same vicinity. 45.19, 45, even all the way up to 45.50. Now we get above 45.50. Watch out above. Like, we're probably going to break out and go. That's not just a spike up and a reverse. We got to get a daily close up in there and then continuation. If we just spike up above 45.50 and then roll back down, we're probably coming down to the roadmap line. And that's probably going to last well into late September, possibly even October. All right, we could do, this next bounce, we got to see how it shapes up. Do we have to get a bounce? No, we can just drop on out. It's entirely possible that we just break on down and do that right the moment, right now. We just do that right now. Entirely possible. Is it likely? Not so likely, especially with this consolidation zone we had right here. All right, that's the parameters moving forward. Would I count on the bounce? No. Would I count on the drop? No. There's nothing super high probability about where we ended up right now. Continuation, not necessarily high probability. Bounce, not necessarily high probability, although it's probably higher than continuation lower. There's probably a higher chance that we get a bounce right now, but everything can just kind of turn sour. All right, we went on a monster rally, top 5% of moves right here ever since World War II in the S&P 500 right there. That's just duration of the rise. That duration was in the top 5%. Now, what do we do to correct that back out? Be highly likely to do a three-wave move. Now, this thing, it doesn't have to bounce. It can just, like I said, just keep correcting back out. We could do, now that we did a nice long up, we could do a nice extended long down. And we could possibly, there is the potential, we come all the way down and do a 618 retrace of this move that we did up here. And that could put us right down in this area right here, potentially 41.37. Right down in here. Right back where we consolidated back here in April and May. All right. Hey, Kimberly. Morning. Morning. Morning, Beth. Morning, Michael. Rongaber. Glad to have everybody. All righty. That's kind of the S&P right there. I know some free people were hair on fire yesterday. Well, just chill, all right? Chill out. It's just another day. When we look at it this way, it wasn't even that crazy a move. Didn't even do that crazy a thing. It just poked out and extended down just a little bit. Now, look at the S5FI. We may go down a little bit more. 30 tends to be, if we're not going to go out of the bottom, 30 tends to be a point where we kind of find, in this 30 to 40 zone, we tend to find a bottom and then reverse. Even on these big drops, where we head right down to the bottom, we tend to get bounces at this 30 to 40 zone. All right. Tend to spike down into this zone. Of quite often and then get a reversal. Just keep it in mind, all right? We don't have to, I mean, I don't care what the mainstream media says. Don't get emotional about it. Just play the odds. The odds are we're getting near a bounce. Even if we're going to get continuation lower, the odds are we're getting near a bounce. All right? Even on the way up, we tend to retrace. Even on the way down, we'll tend to retrace. Just be careful, all right? The market loves to chop people out and take everybody's money. All right, Andrew USA, my request show is on Tuesdays. Anyway, ES, this is S&P 500 futures. This is why I look at the futures, because we can see what's been happening overnight right here. We got a little continuation lower. Then we found a bottom sometime around, I guess that was what, 9 o'clock last night. And then we've been rallying back up a little bit into the 9 o'clock hour here. Finding a little trouble getting back up through the trend line. Probably go retest the roadmap line. If we can get above the roadmap line on the 30 minutes and not just reverse back out again, it really may be the hourly. Yeah. Hourly is probably more important at this point. See how we touched, you know, spike up, reversed. Couldn't really get through. So the hourly looks like it's a little more accurate as far as where the resistance is. So that's going to put us up here around 44.70, 44.80. If we come revisit that one more time, highly likely. You can see it's just been a stair step. Just been riding the stairs down. Selling the pops. Now, is this the reversal that'll be a little different? Possibly. Clean up the fib lines here. We did get a nice extension on that last roadmap line test there. I just deleted. Look at that right there. Right out to the 1618. Stopping yesterday. Right in that zone. Dipped a little lower. Now reversing. Coming back to the roadmap line. Classic roadmap line pattern. And that pattern applies on all time frames. It's not like I use it on the daily all the time during the show, but it applies all time frames. You can find it over and over and over all through the market. That's the beauty of fib patterns. All right, removing some of this other stuff. Getting it out of the way. Now, if we were to retrace this whole big move, let's talk about it on the futures chart. That would put us right up here at 45.50. Right there at the 618. Possibly as high as the 786 right here at 45.88, 45.90 area. So if we see S&P 500 rally up there, that 45.50, you know, I was talking 45.50 on S&P 500. That's the cash index. They tend to run about 20, 25 points difference. And futures may rally up there. I just heard the bell. So market is open now. In Q, got the extension down finally. I was concerned that we may see a strong reversal, but we went ahead and did the extension down. Classic. Up to the, you know, we got the extension down to 1272, back to the 100. Now, do we do the extension move? There's Love and Arc throwing off alerts. Do we do that? Or do we go ahead and retrace back up and test the roadmap line? That's the two potentials right now that we have cooking. We start turning down, we're probably going for an extension down to 14,800. If we can break above, say 1550, 15,050, probably rallying at least back up to 15,200 area. Get above that, and we may see a bigger rally. Now we do have the. Let's kind of zoom us out just a little bit. I'm gonna throw off get rid of the alerts. No, too much zooming out. We did have that gap up right back here, and we may go down and try to fill that gap up. I drew that potential back here, and it's still potential over here. But you know, watch out for a potential head and shoulders type thing to develop. If we bounce here, come up, find resistance about that same point, and roll down again, that creates this head and shoulders right here. And we could see a bigger correction take shape. What am I talking about? It'd be like this, possibly like this. If that thing formed That's like, watch out, because we would have a bigger retrace potential show up in here. All right. Would be remiss if I did not mention at least that potential, and that would put us definitely down into the daily roadmap line territory. All right. There you go. That's, if you're wondering what the heck NQ is, that's QQQ. It would be the ETF that you could trade that with. ES would be SPY, SPY. Russell right here, right back down to the roadmap line. Look, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right back down in there. We can be done on Russell. Russell outperforming to the downside, got back to the daily roadmap line. I think I said that was likely all the way back here in July. If you traded IWM to the downside, that was the target. That was the high probability move. Continuation lower is questionable at this point. We can get a strong bounce from here, breaking back above 19, let's say 1915 area on Russell. Futures here would be an indication we're going up for the next extension. The next extension, let's go ahead and move the fib lines over and draw it. Next extension looking something like 2055. Now that is the aggressive entry above 1910. More conservatively above 1967. Looking for that 2055 area, possibly 2100. And then if you look at the bigger picture, target up here around 2200. All right, that's a nice potential right there. I may close. I had a IWM short that I didn't disclose to everybody, but I'm probably going to close that out here in a few minutes. CL, ooh, right back down. Look at that. That could bounce right there. That got down there nice and quick. We could bounce at that line. If we fail to break above, gosh, where is the resistance on the upside? It's probably going to be right there. If we bounce up and bounce off of that, we're probably coming on down to the roadmap line right down here. So what that might look like would be move up here and then a turn down like this. If we break out above that, we'll go test this again. If we get above that, probably come up here to 94. Yep. All right. Gold, still messing around. Bitcoin. Can we get the final flush out to the roadmap line? Maybe. We'll see. Remember, what I talked about yesterday was that we tend to consolidate for a while, get a flush, and then a major pop. Like that's kind of Bitcoin's MO. We get a flush and then a big pop. So if we get the flush out, watch for a big pop. Ethereum, still looking more bearish. Probably going to at least go retest these lows, if not come down to the 618 level on the downside. Dollar, getting a red candle today after testing the resistance at those prior highs. Watch out for continuation lower or a breakout. All right, I did not reload the market roadmap list. Let's see. Or the morning monster list. All the different lists. There we go. Walmart. And getting a little pop. This is extended. Let's kind of... Yeah, 1272 was of this bigger retrace. And then also this move right here. We came up. We hit the 1272, retraced back to the 100, out to the 1618, which was the 1272 of this move. We may see a retrace one more time right back to here, and then an extension like that. You know, Walmart's earnings, I mean, they beat on the top, beat on the bottom. That's pretty strong. You know, retail sales came in pretty strong, so sounds pretty good. And they're not going not getting into the political crap like Target. So, you know, story of two retailers, and look at that red candle yesterday. Put it, you know, staying right on the path. We may go down even lower on Target. Adobe making the list for a gainer this morning as far as just the move up, but this still looks like it may drop on down here. CHK also kind of just churning right at the roadmap line, not really able to break above. I mean, that's just a choppy grind. It's really, we may just continue to grind in a channel that looks something like this. And just kind of grind higher like that. This one tends to do that. I mean, look at this. So I don't see extra opportunity there. Now, as far as the bottom of the market goes, we may need to see Apple flush right down into the support. We may need to see Microsoft flush right down into support. And Tesla got darn close yesterday. Oh, look at the roadmap line. Boom. I said it was going there. It just took a little while. Been saying that for, gosh, it feels like since May. We come up here and we turn down and come back. Now, don't buy it yet. We may go on down and retest this box right here. It's not a buy yet. Don't catch falling knives. Don't buy stuff on the way down. Wait till it at least finds some kind of support. And we saw that right back here. Plenty of buying opportunity, and it went sky high. All right, wait for the reversal. Wait for something to shape up. Right now, we can dip lower. Support is, I mean, this is the major support from these highs back here. It would not surprise me to go test that zone. Not one iota, not one bit. May come right down in there. That's also the 618 level of this whole big move up right there. If it comes down to that 210 area, bounces there, it's time to load up the truck because we could see an outsized move up to 400. That's like doubling your money just on shares. So nice potential, but we're not quite there on Tesla. Not quite there. ALC, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Right up to resistance. Be a classic type move where we go 1, 2, 3. DFS. Target was right down here. And the target, my target. We were pushing into the lows from back here. If we get below that, we're probably going on an extension right down here. Right around 80. PDD. Well, there's opportunity for that to bounce, but that was a 3-wave up so far. I would definitely be careful. If we get above about this 84 level, we're probably, it tips the tide to going on up to 97. If we turn down here, probably coming down to 54. BABA, China's looking pretty weak. BABA, that thing's going through some kind of government change up. We get below this trend line, probably coming on down. Otherwise, we can just bounce up to the top of the channel. One more time. Children's Place. The boss used to work there briefly. That's bearish. That is a bearish chart. Right there. CWB. China's got all sorts of problems. It's not just a bad CPI report. China's got some problems. And it's a long-term problem, like lying about your numbers. It was kind of the downfall of USSR. You lie about your economic numbers, your production. It just crushes it all. I mean, China's been a flow of bad numbers. You can say CPI, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's no one number that makes it bad. It's all bad. Arguably, the largest, what do they call it? One of the largest financial institutions in China missing payments is causing problems, causing unraveling. They just decided to skip making payments on a lot of the loans that they were due, and it's creating ripples. And we, as the Western media, Western media doesn't pick up on all these things. China does a really good job at hiding everything. There's also massive flooding going on in China. There's a lot of problems going on in China right now, and we don't get the news. Like, it just doesn't make worldwide news. China does a good job of controlling it, and we don't hear about it. So this is 2x bulls, and it's really bearish. We can see continuation lower on that one. Looks something like, right down, go for 19, right back to the lows. FNGU, getting close, getting really close. I drew the target. We may get there. On the path. We may come up short, but that was the target. Be right in the green zone. Ball Corporation is just sideways. It's a mover today, but it's just sideways. Inside, sideways. Wouldn't expect anything. Baidu probably coming back down. It wrecked the Head and Shoulders and probably going down. And then it's just sideways at this point. I had that big arrow drawn sideways. It's just doing it sideways. CI. So healthcare. Oh, like a whole bunch of it taking a big bath today. Down multi-percents, like Cigna turning down. Ouch. Right there, right at the 618. Turn down. Extension lower is entirely possible. Humana at the roadmap line. May turn down. Be careful. That was pre-market moving, but right now it's just flat. That one may turn down also. UNH back to the roadmap line. If it doesn't hold it, we may go down again. MSTR, I mentioned, probably come back to the box. If not, back to the roadmap line. That seems to be what it's doing after getting a little extra happy on the upside. Blowing through all the targets and going for the extension at the 2618, stopping, and then retrace back to the roadmap line. Classic. So target on that one right around 328. Wolf. Probably going for an extension at this point. To the downside, that'd be 31, 3180, 32. Got to round up instead of down on the downside targets. IHF. iShares Healthcare, taking a hit. Healthcare taking a hit. iShares Healthcare taking a hit. We can extend that lower at this point. Watch out for a move down to 233. You'd be like, there's no way. Yes, there's a way. Be careful right here. We're pushing that trend line. Just low, pushing here. We get below about 249, maybe 248. Tips the odds towards going to 233 area, 234. CVS, like I said, got to round up, not down on downside targets. CVS, oh man, did the retrace. That's a bearish move. Oh my gosh. If we get below that prior low, probably going to 63, if not 60 on the downside for CVS. Hawaiian Electric still suffering, getting extensions lower. I mean, ouch. Rough time there. Let's see. I'm just curious. Walgreens, yep. Getting the move down to, couldn't even muster a bounce up to the roadmap line there. Nice. Just chopping sideways nasty. Golly. Bunch of gnarly charts. We're on the biggest losers list today. light, probably going down for an extension. Lower, couldn't muster anything positive out of the bounce. 36 on the downside. All right. Bias for the day. What would the bias be? Super cautious. I mean, that's kind of been saying that, but I do expect a little bit of a relief rally potentially, just because we got down to the target here. It would make complete sense to me to see a rally into, yeah, look, next week, possibly Jackson Hole, the Jackson Hole meeting. We could see a rally, and then here's the funny thing: we could see a rally in a Jackson Hole. The mainstream media may say that we're optimistic on what the FOMC type people announce coming out of Jackson Hole. They say stuff that maybe is a little more conducive to raising more rates, and the market does this. I'm just speculating, but it's on the chart that may be the pattern. All right, so there you go. That's what we're looking for today. And if you want to get more commentary from me all day, any opportunities I see throughout the day, you come join me in Discord, because for paying clients, people that support me outside of just watching YouTube, I go above and beyond. I hang out with you all day, all night practically. So links in the description. It's like $5 if you want to come join me. And thanks for coming, everybody. See you again tomorrow. Bye for now. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. The account